Welcome back. Joe Volpe, publisher of Corriere Canadese, North America's only Italian language daily newspaper, on behalf of Go Live and Corcan Media Group, with the comment of the day for today, September the 12th. And the comment has to do with Ahmed Hussein's solution to Jus Soli, that is, anchor babies. Solution is simple: deport the children. Now, this issue of Jus Soli is the hottest topic on the international issues landscape. The question is, does location of birth determine citizenship? Jus Soli. Xenophobes are borderline racists in Europe and the Americas respond with a resounding no. It is, regrettably, not simply a partisan matter. Nor is Canada, unfortunately, immune from those socio-political discussions. More recently, the issue surfaced at a Canadian Conservative Party summer caucus held in Halifax. Members from a riding association in Newfoundland, a nearby Atlantic province, succeeded in having their motion to deprive anchor babies of citizenship obtained simply by having been born in Canada. Apparently, these anchor babies are sprouting like unwanted dandelions in, of all places, Richmond, BC, British Columbia. Briefly, the contagion works something like this. Forward-looking Asians, allegedly primarily Orientals, book flights, etc., to British Columbia so that they can give birth to a child who automatically becomes a citizen and thus can exercise the rights of citizenship at a later date. These birth tourists clearly have some disposable income. They need it. They probably also need to make some investments in Canada, even if it's simply in the acquisition of residences for their children to inhabit later. But it's a real problem, say the proponents of the anti-citizenship by birthright brigade. Statistics Canada reported, wait for it, 313 such anchor babies in 2016, whose mother's official residence was not in Canada. That's 313. On the other hand, 387,516 live births were recorded in that same year, as against 213 deaths registered. There's a net gain of 120,303. That might not be impressive for some people, but for demographers concerned about maintaining our population and economic growth rates that these numbers cause are a reason for concern. According to them, Canada needs about 370,000, or 1% of our population, more births than deaths in order to sustain our current level of human resources competitiveness. That suggests that Canada fell some 250,000 short of the mark in 2016. It's little wonder that Gerald Butts, principal advisor to the Prime Minister, tweeted out a tut-tut admonition to those anti-immigrant conservatives. Except that a member of his own caucus from British Columbia is one of those most adversarial to the anchor babies menace. Then last week, a Canadian press wire story about federal Justice Department officials proceeding in court against the Canadian-born children of alleged Russian spies once again stoked anti-immigrant fires in our own country, and the seeming duplicity of the government along with it. Those Justice Department lawyers were arguing a case on behalf of the Minister for Refugees, Immigration, and Citizenship, Ahmed Hussein. Through him, the government is attempting to deprive Alexander and Timothy Vavilov, the offspring of the Russian intelligence agents, of their citizenship acquired by right of birth. Again, that's Jus Soli. The government's official position, as argued in court, is that Unless one of the parents is either a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, no child born in this country has automatic right to citizenship. In other words, they're not like us. They don't deserve what we think we have. I can't imagine that the Minister for Refugees and Immigration is the one that is advancing this position. The government is the government's position is more serious opinion than that of the usual partisan claptrap. It has the tools to enforce the court decisions or the interpretations of its own officials. So it can and does deport the unwanted. Ministers Ralph Goodale and Ahmed Hussen are proceeding to deport as many children as they can find, whether they are anchor babies or children of the undocumented workers. Those are people who are here without regular status. Notwithstanding a Supreme Court directive dated December 10, 2015, that the best interests of the child must always take precedence. This action by both ministers would augur poorly for the children of the Dimitri family. 2 of them were born here. 2 others have been here for 5 years. Their parents entered the country legally. They want to stay. The offices of both Goodale and Hussen shift responsibility for the file onto their colleagues in the other department. Other ministers have suggested that maybe it's because the Dimitri are Italian. We hope not. Joe Volpe, on behalf of Corriere Canadese, Go Live TV, and Corriere Media Group, thanking you for listening and inviting you to stay tuned in Italian and then subsequently in Portuguese.